Yes, guys, welcome to Chasing Green Arrows. We are back for our Tuesday night special. We didn't do Monday because the game was on, so we thought we'd go for a Tuesday special instead. So 6 p.m, me and Dean, next hour, we're going to be talking eye test, Dean's notebook, bonus beasts, our team, and the community team. But first and foremost, Dean, how was your weekend?
Well, it wasn't great because Fulham lost 3-0 to Brentford, so that wasn't ideal. And I'm actually going to the next game too, Arsenal away at the weekend. It's going to be my 5-year-old's first away game.
With the away fans, or
no, we're in the Fulham end, so we'll be in the away end. So he's excited. I'm having to tell him, like, we won't win this. It's about the experience. It's about seeing a new stadium. If we score a goal, it's a massive plus point. So I try to prepare him for what could be coming. But the Arsenal are only winning by the odd goal at the moment, so that gives me at least some hope that we don't get battered. So that could be something. How was your weekend?
Yeah, all right. I was flying in FPL. Do not check your game week rank halfway through on a Sunday when there's a Monday game, because you can get all excited. And I was cruising at 200k, and then Monday night happened, and yet again I have been stung by the Gabriel versus Saliba swing. All those that knew Gabriel wasn't playing and put Saliba in with 1 minute to the game week 1 deadline. It's now an 11-point swing, plus the 4-point transfer you've got to make to take Gabriel out. Effectively, you've lost 15 points on the field. 15 points is like 300, 400, 500k places, sometimes more, sometimes millions, depending on your rank. So I'm gutted because 15 points you worked damn hard for. And, I'd had 9 from Foden. We'll see our teams later. So Crimea River, the violin is out. I've got to move on. But I did go to bed unhappy last night because...
They'll play the next game, right? Because now Tomiyasu's out.
Well, in theory, yeah, but we thought he'd play this game because Timber was out. So who knows? And even if he plays, I'm like, do I really want that headache every week of will he, won't he? I think I'm going to sell him tonight, mate. He drops in value tonight, guys. So if you want to sell him for 5 million still, you have to sell him before 2 a.m. or 1:30.
I mean, I would still get rid of him personally. I mean, it's not a good sign. He's obviously going to play at stages throughout the season. Arsenal declaring that they will not accept any money for him. The Saudis have been in for him. PSG have looked at him. Real Madrid have considered him. So there is some interest there. I would like to see, though, if a bid came in, like what Gabriel's stance would be, because suddenly you're out of the team and you're a bit put out of joint, right? So that would be interesting. Yeah, I'd say just make sure you keep your money for now. So get Gabriel out if you're thinking that way.
Dean, in fact, guys in the chat, let me know, and you, Dean, like, I'm looking at 3 options for his replacement. And bearing in mind, I've got to make that move tonight. It's a bit risky. Gvardiol, bearing in mind, whoever I buy is always going to be fighting with Colwill for a place in the 11. And Colwill's got 2 great fixtures coming up. So I don't have to buy someone that comes into the 11 because I could just play Colwill. So Gvardiol, I'm reluctant to go up to a Diaz at 5.5. Gvardiol's 5. Even though you get a little bit more security. So I'm going to go 5 million Gvardiol, 4.5 Udogie. I like a lot, and I think he's a good option later in the season when Spurs perhaps are a little bit tighter at the back. And then I could go for the very long-term hold of Sven Botman. Like, at some point, we're all going to want a Newcastle defender, and the fixtures do turn in a few weeks. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, I like Botman. I like him, and Shah have been playing really well. Shah actually has really stood out for me as in terms of like an eye test. I like his performances.
He's great.
So I would be veering that way. I mean, Newcastle start to the season. I mean, I know they lost the last game, but there's still quite a positive sign. Liverpool next at home. I'd still be expecting Newcastle to at least draw that game. Don't expect them to lose it. Yeah. And then they've got a reasonable run: Brighton, Brentford, Sheffield United, Burnley after that. So not a bad horse to be jumping on, I think.
Yeah. I will make that call and let you guys know on tomorrow's stream. We're back tomorrow, by the way. Big Man Backers, there's a Wednesday stream with us. I think it's at 1 o'clock, but I will let you know at the end of the show what time we're on live tomorrow. And then obviously me and Dean are back on Friday. Guys, thank you so much for joining. I'm watching every comment in the chat. We've got over 100 of you with us. Do hit that like button if you are supporting Chasing Green Arrows and want to show your support. You can like, you can subscribe, or if you really want to support, if you fancy it, you can even ask a super chat question. But we will get to your questions regardless, and we'll have a dedicated Q&A section towards the end of the stream. Oh God, my setup, mate. Honestly, I need to sort this out. Like I've got a new camera and it looks good, but I'm now. Oh no, what am I doing? I'm not on a laptop camera. Hang on. Oh God. I can't. I wanted to take the camera off to show you my setup. On boxes, like it's a box on some books on another box, and then my laptop, and the computer monitor is literally wobbling around. And I've raised my chair up, which meant desk, and honestly,
Oh mate, yeah, it
it's
looks
the
pretty
worst.
scary. Well, look, mate, if we want some advice, don't forget the ironing board. Always get your ironing board out in need of emergency. It's serving me well. It's still here. It's never used for ironing ever. And this is literally like a desk that sits here now all day, every day. My wife walks past in the day and she just like shakes her head at me while she's sat at an actual desk. But it works. And
It's so good because it's portable as well. You can get in and out, and you can put it right over your legs, unlike a desk. So
I
you
move
can
around. Like I've got to stick the TV on for a bit if I want. Over here's a bigger part of the couch where I could just lay down for a minute. It's lovely.
That is an absolute win. There we go.
Once it looked like you had an earthquake there for a second. No, he's not in LA. They had an earthquake at the weekend, but yeah, geez, safe from all that.
Mate, I was involved. I was in France in the summer. I was about an hour from, I can't remember, was it Bordeaux? Just inland. And honestly, we felt an earthquake. And I said to Cam, we were in our little Airbnb, our little G, and it completely shook. And I was like, was that an earthquake? I don't know what earthquakes feel like. And I certainly didn't expect one in France, nowhere near a plate boundary. And then I Googled it, and it was all over the news in France that the epicenter was about 50 miles from us. And it measured a 6 point something. So it was quite a rock.
Yeah.
But yeah, no one died or anything. But France hasn't had an earthquake for like 20 years. And
no, I didn't even know it was possible. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, pretty weird experience. But yeah, let's get on with some chat. Guys, thank you. Seeing so many new faces in the chat, by the way. Good to see Craig's with us and Cavish. Welcome to the channel, Greg and Punter, as always. Vindy, CH is in the house, Luke. But look, let's move on. I'm going to do some eye test scouting in a minute. But first up, we've got Dean's notebook.
Yeah, so I think we'll start with Man City because there's a couple of important pieces of news coming in. The first regards their manager. Pep Guardiola is injured. He's
orange flag.
He's got back surgery. Luke, can you stop spamming the chat with this McAllister red card overturned, please?
Hang on, Luke. We've got CH in the house now. Don't make CH kick you out. We've got a mod.
Yeah, I don't want that to keep cropping up. But yeah, so Pep Guardiola is out, and that means he misses the Sheffield United game, the Fulham game. I think it's West Ham after that. So he's timed it pretty well. He obviously trusts his sidekicks to see through these easy games. But it's something to look out for. Obviously, he's still going to have a say in the team selection and stuff, but not actually having him on the touchline is going to be really interesting. Have you noticed that Pep's a bit different this season? He seems edgy, bit intense.
Yeah.
Like, I know he's always a little bit edgy and intense, but like it seems a bit different to me this season. I don't know what it is. I don't know if like he knows he can make history by like winning the Premier League again, and nobody's ever won it this many times in a row. When he's back-to-back trebles, the fact that a few of his players have left that he didn't want to actually leave. Don't know what it is, but there's been something different about him. So I'm interested to see how Man City play it without him. But the other piece of news from Man City that more directly is going to impact all of us is that Doku is on his way to Man City, undergoing his medical. This is big because I didn't really like Mahrez as a player. Like, I don't know, this is a particularly popular opinion, but I find his style of play is like a bit lethargic and lazy, like the way that he plays. And like, obviously ridiculously skillful, like a wand of a foot. Like the stuff he can do is ridiculous. Like I accept all of that. Doku, though, is so much more dynamic and direct and strong.
Yeah.
For an FPL player, this is what I'm actually looking for. And I think that like once he gets up to speed, I wouldn't say like, yeah, go and get him first week he comes in. But once he starts to settle into this Man City lineup, it's really going to give us an intriguing option. Probably might even be second half of the season. But at some point, we've got an exciting new Man City asset to ponder.
7.5, do you reckon, Dean? How much? He's going to, because Grealish is 7, Foden's 7.5, Bernardo Silva's 6.5. But Doku comes with probably quite big assist threat, doesn't he? Like he's a provider. He's just a proper winger, isn't he?
Yeah, I think 7 though. Young, like kind of untested at this level.
Yeah, I
Like
think I'll go 7.
I think 7 is probably about right. And I'll be tempted at some point to go there. Be interesting
Okay.
to see what they classify him as, midfielder or forward. What do you reckon,
Yeah.
midfielder?
Well, yeah, because he plays. If FPL's thing in the last few years has been you play wide, you're a midfielder. You know, Mo Salah, Sterling. Yeah, and he's a wide man, so he'll be a midfielder. But yeah, it could. If you were saying maybe 6.5, that would feel generous, but maybe
That'd be
like
nice. That'd be nice. That'd be a nice temptation for people to have. Said won't be more than Alvarez. That's not a bad shout actually from Ben. That's a pretty good point.
yeah.
So I'm interested to see what actually happens there. Look, Man City's options at the moment are obviously tough. Do you know what's really frustrating me? Actually, it just reminded me at the start of the season, I was very, very close to taking Alvarez and Haaland.
Well, yeah, I think you
I
said that
really
in a stream.
was.
Yeah.
And I still think, especially now De Bruyne's out, that is a really good tactic because even if they aren't both on the pitch at the same time, if Haaland's taken out and Alvarez didn't start, then Alvarez is probably coming on. So you've always got that Man City goal threat in the team. I really like that tactic, and I'm kind of kicking myself for not doing that and going for the safe bet of Ollie Watkins instead. It's one of those things where because of this stupid template, you don't go with what you actually believe in. And
It's
yeah,
not too late though to go against Watkins. I'm thinking of selling Watkins this week. He's got Burnley away and then Liverpool away. Like they're not bad fixtures, but you could go for someone like Alvarez or Jackson's got 2 great homes. Alvarez is fun. I feel like Alvarez and Foden are both likely to start again. But we might get to the point with Doku's addition and obviously Bernardo Silva back fit where it's one of Alvarez and Foden, and picking the right one might be tricky. But
yeah.
next week or two, I think they'll both start. Like they've both had 180 minutes so far, game week 1 and 2.
They have, yeah. So look, Watkins is a tough one. We'll get there in a bit when we go through our teams, but
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with him for now. There was that one he almost got on the end of at the far part. Like, yeah, he almost did score at the weekend, and if it had gone in, if he'd have taken a penalty, I know it's all ifs and buts, but Ollie Watkins is going to score goals at some point. He's not going to be a dud for the whole season. So I just want to have a bit of patience this season and not keep jumping off one asset to another. What was the other thing I was going to address? Well, I'm just going to tease this one actually because we've got more to come on this later. Brentford. I was at Fulham Brentford, and over the weekend there are 2 things that I've been seeing a lot of. One is a lot of love for Mbomo, and well, actually quite a bit of love for Brentford. And the other one is a lot of love for Nicholas Jackson. I wouldn't be touching either of these. Like, honestly,
I want both of them.
I just think that he might, to be fair, he might get points. Like on the eye test, he wasn't good. Like Brentford did not play well against Fulham.
Yeah.
And honestly, this isn't me being biased. They did not, that wasn't a 3-0 game. It was, Fulham shouldn't have lost that game. It was an
That's
error.
why I didn't buy him, mate. I didn't buy him because I'm not sure on Brentford. It's the team more than the individual here. And you're saying actually even Fulham deserve to win.
Fulham were on top of that game for 40 minutes. I wasn't concerned at all. I'd like looked away for a second. I heard this gasp from the stand, and I see like the ball's running towards our goal. And you're literally like, how did that even happen? Like they haven't even come close, really. So it's kind of a shock. And then there's this harsh penalty, a red card, and then it's all over basically. So there's that. And then I just want to round off my section. Nicholas Jackson. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing what everyone else is seeing. I get it. He's a handful. Yes. So was Origi. Like,
yeah.
so I'm not seeing it, mate. I'm not like his XG. Like it looks good, but I'm looking at his chances. I'm thinking, but he's not actually looking like he's going to score. I'm sorry. I'm not buying that at all. I'm not going near that fella all season.
I just want to timestamp
is this season Darwin's Núñez?
At 14:30 into the stream, I need to clip that and post it on social later because that was hilarious. So I'm making a mental note. At 14:30, I'm going to clip the Origi.
I'm going to get loads of Chelsea hate because everyone knows I'm a Fulham fan.
Yeah, I'm going to tag Liv as well. She shares
go
it
for
the
it,
Chelsea. Fair enough. Yeah, look, we'll talk more about Jackson perhaps later when we're looking at maybe the community team. But I don't know. You know the classic case in FPL where you say, doesn't matter that they're not scoring, they're getting the chances. I said it with Darwin last year. I feel like I'm in that same boat with Jackson, and I'm just like, oh, he's getting the chances. It's like, that's irrelevant if he can't convert them. Like, if
It is.
he's a finisher.
The one thing going against what I'm saying is that Chelsea's next game is Luton.
At home. And then Forest at home after that. It's 2 good games.
So that's what's going against, like, he could easily score 2 goals. He should score 2 goals against Luton. They are rubbish, right? Yeah. Luton are the worst team in this league by a distance, and they're going to get battered regularly. And so Chelsea should be looking to win that game 4-0. Nicholas Jackson should be looking at it as a platform to actually start his Premier League season properly and get himself underway. If he doesn't score in that game, then he's got massive problems.
Yeah, he might be an instant sell. Like, I might literally just give him 1 game. And also, Chelsea could still buy. The transfer window closes ahead of game week 4. So I could buy Jackson tomorrow. And then in a week's time against Forest, it's like, oh, Chelsea have gone and bought a number 9. Like, what's your take with the Chelsea in the transfer market? Because Poch said we're exploring attacking options. Do you think it's more likely to be a provider? Because they're losing. And Nkunku obviously out for a while. Chukwuemeka is out for, I think, 5-6 weeks. And he looked really good and has looked good. So where are they going to buy an attacking player? And if so, what position?
I think they're looking at both. I think they're looking at primarily a creator, like a 10 or something like that, but also not ruling out a striker. Because if you look at it now, say we do get Chelsea struggling to score against Luton, which we really shouldn't see. Like, I'm not saying that will happen, but if they do struggle for goals against Luton, and you're suddenly thinking, okay, so we've got Nicholas Jackson and Armando Broja as our 2 strikers. Yeah. Is that good enough? We've spent almost £1 billion. Like, we are limiting expectations, but we are expected to have a season that's top half. Can we really afford to not sign a striker? And the answer is no, you can't. To Chelsea to spend all this money on their midfield, but not have a striker. Their best striker is Romelu Lukaku.
Or Chilwell.
Yeah, or Chilwell.
Back.
Like, Lukaku's the best striker at the club.
He's training with the under-21s.
He's training with the under-21s. Probably having a great time banging them in every day. Poch is probably just staring from a distance. Poch hasn't spoken to him at all.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, at all. Someone had told me that the other day. I was speaking to an agent trying to check out what Lukaku was doing. And he was like, look, mate, there's still nothing from Poch at all. It's like, they're all so stubborn here. Like, this could have worked for everybody.
It's a lot of money to leave in the under-21s with his wages.
He'll leave. Obviously, he'll leave. Like, if he wants to go Juve, if it doesn't happen, they'll have to find
He can't go Juve. The fans keep protesting.
He still wants to go. Like, this is what I was checking. He was like, oh, yeah, still wants to go Juve. He's not worried about any of that.
Chelsea have been quoted 50 million from Balogun. Chelsea are looking at Balogun to see in the chat. And yeah, like he's been linked with Monaco. He's been linked with Premier League clubs.
But again, why do you want a player that's not good enough for Arsenal?
Yeah, Arsenal's third choice. Like,
what? Why is that good enough for Chelsea? It's not.
Yeah.
Like, if Chelsea were going to go and spend this money on Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez and Lavia, why aren't you signing Aussie men?
Yeah. Oh, it's hard. It's a hard call. I hope Chelsea don't sign a 9 because I want Jackson to be an FPL thing, and I think when Nkunku's back, we'll see him get minutes as a 9-2. But look, time will tell. Yeah. Or maybe it's Osimhen next season. I don't know.
Maybe.
Guys, let's move on to the eye test section, and then we got the community team coming up. I'm buzzing to do some polls and get you guys deciding what transfers we are going to make. But let's have a very quick eye test scout report. Eye test scout time. I can't remember who I said I was going to do. Let me just check my phone because I'm going to look at the results. And
is it the same as your heat maps or your bonus?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I've got to make sure it's not. So look, let's go to Brighton because I don't think we spoke about Solly March as a bonus beast, although he did get 3 bonus.
We didn't.
I want to talk about the Brighton wide men because one thing I said pre-season on this show a lot, Dean, was, and I didn't stick with it, was buy a Man City defender because they're the best defence in the league. And I didn't have one. I still don't have one. And buy one Brighton attacker isn't enough because with the first 3 fixtures and what we saw last year and the price of their players, they score so many goals and create so many chances. They're loads of fun.
Yeah.
So I get it. Like, João Pedro and Enciso are going to rotate a lot. We now know that. We didn't know that a couple of weeks ago. Welbeck and Ferguson will rotate a lot. That's the 9 and 10 taken care of. But the wide men, Matoma and March, they're pretty much set and forget for De Zerbi unless they go into the transfer market.
Yeah.
March and Matoma are nailed. And sure, with European football, we could see a little bit of a tweak. But I think for the first few games in Europe, in the group stages, when they're playing nobodies, he'll rest March and Matoma and they'll be fit for the Prem. Sure, for the knockouts, they'll be a big part. And then you might see some lack of minutes in the Premier League. But March and Matoma are so much fun. And the eye test report, watching both of these guys at the weekend was an absolute joy. Like the way March took his goals, sure, they're tap-ins, but the movement and the level of understanding he had with Enciso, who was provider for both, and then that Matoma goal.
Yeah.
Wow, like he's electric. And these are players that I don't want to be benching against tough opposition. Like they got Newcastle in a couple of weeks, got West Ham at the weekend. You start these guys, they'll score goals against anyone, wouldn't they?
They will, yeah. I mean, Solly March is only 8% owned at the moment, and he's one of the highest scoring players in the game. So it's silly that we overlooked him, and we know that how well he scored over the course of last season. We know how consistent he was, and we got to the start of this season, we still were just all about Mitoma and possibly Pedro, a few people throwing Enciso in there. Like there was very little talk around March coming into the season. I mean, maybe he didn't even expect to start quite this well, but he's right up there, and he's going to be an important player all season. You're right. It's tricky still to predict the Brighton lineup, but you'd imagine that Solly March is not going anywhere.
Yeah, March and Matoma feel safer. And look, questions in the chat about Pedro. I think you sell because you're going to have the Willy, won't he, every week? Like, sure, Pedro's amazing and he can play number 9 or 10 and he's on penalties. But there's also a chance he gets the 1-pointers. And I just think if you can move, Pedro's gone up from 5.5 to 5.6. Unfortunately, your sale price is still 5.5. You need him to hit 5.7 to make a profit. If you can reach a forward like Jackson, who you might want to have 1 week punt on, or you can reach Alvarez at 6.5. Like, I like that move a lot. And I think if you're going to invest in Brighton, with a heavy heart, you ignore João Pedro and Enciso, because when they're on the pitch, they're both brilliant. And you probably do the same with Ferguson and Welbeck, but you just go, it's March, it's Matoma, it's a Stupinan. They're the 3 FPL assets, just like they were at the end of last season. So
it's so hard, not to be reactive at the moment, like because we are still gathering our evidence. It's so hard to know what we can trust and believe in, like beyond what we saw last season. Like, you know, you could take this even to like the Rashford conversation, which we'll probably have at some point. Like, obviously a good fixture for Man United next against Forest, but like if Rashford doesn't score against Nottingham Forest, I imagine everyone's jumping off.
They'll go because the fixtures turn as well a little bit. But that he might be about to be moved to the left-hand side and therefore a better option.
Well, I don't think he will be. From what Ian was saying the other day, he expects Rashford to stay there for a while unless they actually sign someone.
I didn't realise Haaland was so far from starting. I assumed he would be ready by game week 3-4, but Ian was like not having that at all. He was like, didn't think that was likely at all. Martial is back soon, but like, how long for?
For 50 minutes.
Honestly. And when Martial does come back to full match fitness, like, or uninjured, how long is it until he's match fit? Like, it must take weeks, months for him to get back into the groove.
You'd imagine so, but then at the same time, Man United can't really afford to wait. So maybe they'll just put him out and get and say, right, let's see if we can get him out for 55, 60 minutes. And then we'll change things after that because they need something to happen.
Yeah, I'm with you. Guys, I just want to touch on Aston Villa. 4-0 win against Everton. Like, goals for fun. Unfortunately, Watkins just got the 1 assist. Bailey did well and got some points, but the love in the Villa team, I've had a complete mind blank. Who's the new midfielder they've just spent 50 million on the winger? Who's playing up front from Leverkusen, Germany? Diaby.
Diaby,
yeah. He's going to be the one in that Villa team, I think, that's the best value. Like 6.5 million. If you're getting rid of Watkins, who's on 8 million, it's a big saving there. And they're both playing up front. He's massively caught my eye. And I know he blanked at the weekend, but just looks razor sharp.
Yeah.
Impressive game week 1. Watkins isn't on pens now. Douglas Luiz.
But is that for sure? Is that for sure like a permanent thing?
It should be, because he missed 2 pre-season. 2 penalties in pre-season. He missed loads last year. His penalty record is something like 50%. Like, he's rubbish. So, I think Douglas Luiz will have them now. I really do.
Yeah. Mark makes a good point. Zaniolo too now in the mix for Villa.
And with Buendia out, I see Zaniolo coming into the 11, but maybe not by game week 3, maybe by game week 4-5, because Zaniolo is a better footballer than Leon Bailey. Very different profile of player, but I can't see Bailey starting when Zaniolo's in that squad when he's
I mean,
fit.
Bailey's a flaky player, isn't he? Like, he has these moments. Like, Bailey can be sensational. We know that. But he could also now go disappearing for 6 weeks and then leave in the January transfer window. Like, literally, that's what this guy's like. His highs and lows are crazy.
Yeah, and Heather says Saka not on penalties now. No, same again. Like, I think Odegaard will continue. Although Arteta did say post match we left it to the players, and Odegaard said, "Yeah, Saka let me have it." I'm not really having that. I can't see Arteta pre-match, the control freak that is Mikel Arteta, the man that's massive attention to detail. He's Pep 2.0. Does he really just go make a call on the pitch in a really tight 0-0 game?
Detail he puts into a match day, and they go,
"You've seen the documentary."
Who's on pens? I'll sort that out yourselves. I don't care.
Not having that.
Not happening.
Mind games from Arteta. So I think Odegaard could stay on them. He took his pen well.
He was nicely composed, wasn't he? To be honest, I think it's a better choice. I think it's a better choice. I mean, Saka, like, he is a good penalty, but he's missed a few like big ones as well.
Yeah. Give it to Odegaard, the captain. He'll like that.
Would that like put you off Saka as an option going forward?
I think it might do, mate. It's a cracking question because the reason we look at those Arsenal midfielders, and I include Martinelli in this, and we go always Saka number one. We always follow that sentence with he's got the penalties. Like we always do, because there's so little to split them. And last year, when we look at the underlying numbers, Odegaard and Martinelli for quite a long time were better than Saka in open play, and it was just depends. But even in total points, I think Martinelli and Saka, or Odegaard got the most points, and then I think Martinelli and Saka was like 2 or 3 points between them. There's very little.
Yeah.
So
breaking news. Breaking news. Cameron has had a baby while his wife or girlfriend has. Hey, legends, watching Chasing Green Arrows with my newborn Daisy.
Yes,
he was waiting the other day for the birth of his child, and here we go. Welcome, Daisy. Here we go. This is great.
Our latest chaser,
Cam.
Daisy the chaser.
That is awesome news, and amazing that you're on this stream still. So well done for tuning in. But I guess you do have a lot of time now on your hands to sit around and hold the baby, burp the baby, try to stop the baby from crying, comfort the baby, sit up all night with the baby.
Those first few months are you've booked off time. And you've booked off work, so you actually have time, and then the baby is sleeping a ton. So even the first few weeks, they're probably a little bit easier than what's about to come, Cam. Like it gets harder as the weeks go on.
I remember my mates saying that. They were like, this should be your greatest FPL season now you've had a baby, because you've got so much time to sit. And for the first few weeks, I was like, actually, yeah, right, I've got loads of time to mess around here and just look at football stuff. And then after about 3 months, I was like, no. Because usually I'd like do it in bed as well. Like I'd look at my team in bed and like and I would like get to bed, wouldn't even get my phone out. I'd just be desperate to fall asleep. So yeah, you've got a lot to do. Cam says you're reaching out to a younger. Yeah, that's definitely our youngest ever viewer, Daisy. So thanks for that.
Yeah, hours old, days old. 300 of you watching, which is awesome, guys. If you fancy hitting the like button, I'd love us to reach that 100 mark. That'd be awesome. And obviously, if you're new around here, make sure you subscribe. Come on. There we go. Look, we've done some eye test report. We've done Dean's notebook. Now this is where it gets really fun. We've got to see my team and Dean's team. And then it's time for the Chaser team. And we'll be making a transfer or two this evening. We've had another super chat. So before we go to that, so many good players rising tonight. Who do you buy? Let me just tell you who is likely to rise tonight. I can tell you Gabriel is likely to drop. But likely to rise. And Bomo has already had a price rise, and he's likely to go again. He will be 6.7 million tomorrow morning. Saliba is likely to price rise to 5.2, and Alvarez is also likely to rise to 6.6. So if you are looking to buy Alvarez, tonight might want to be the night. Luis Diaz and Foden pretty close. I'm not sure if they will rise, however. So yeah, that's where we're at with the those going up. Those going down, João Pedro is going to drop. Gabriel's going to drop. McAllister is going to drop. Joel Linton. De Silva likely to, and Tielemans likely to. We don't really care. And Curtis Jones. So we don't really care. The big news for the droppers is João Pedro, but it doesn't make a difference to your sell price because you probably bought him at 5.5 and he'll be back to 5.5. But Gabriel, if you do want to trade him in, tonight is the night.
And you'll be doing it.
I think I'll be doing the reason I don't want to do it is I feel like I've not given myself enough headspace to decide who I'm buying, and I'm like, I like to take days over decisions, and I've only just realised about 3 hours ago I'm going to be selling Gabriel tonight.
Yeah, and then you've got the build up as well to the weekend, so and you'll be deciding you made the wrong decision. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see Guardiola in the training photos. Maybe I shouldn't have bought him. Like, oh, the Champions League starting, and does that mean Guardiola's going to miss some minutes? Like, whoever I go with, I'm gonna doubt myself till Friday.
Yeah, 100% part of the game.
Yeah. Let's move on. We're gonna go Pimp my team.
The Wharton Rifles, not a great week. 46 points. At least I chose Salah over Haaland. That saved me a little bit. When Brooks didn't start, I didn't predict that. I thought he was one of the few players that actually guaranteed his place in the team, so that annoyed me. Gonna have to keep an eye on that. I mean, I probably won't drop him at the moment, but
Adeyemi came in and scored the goal as well, didn't he?
If he's going to be in and out, then I can't be dealing with that.
I was surprised at that. I thought Brooks was one of the kind of main men in that 11.
Yeah, I don't really understand what happened there. I haven't read enough about it either, so I'll check that out. Yeah, Rice was just in there for making up the numbers, but yeah, Saka and Rashford disappointing, and that's going to be something to think about. I'm inclined to keep Rashford because I'm thinking if people even do jump off him, even if he doesn't score in the next game, how long is Rashford actually going through the season without scoring goals? How many goals is he going to score by Christmas, over the course of the season, whatever? Like, he's still going to be one of the top scorers in this division.
Yep.
So think about like Salah last season and how we're talking about him being in crisis, and he was basically one of the top scorers in the entire game by the end. I'm just got to be a bit careful, and I'm treating the game differently this season, and I'm not making rash decisions. So literally a rash decision here will be, do I go with the crowd when they jump off, or do I stay on the ship?
Yeah, okay, there we go. You got that one free transfer. So we'll find out on Friday where you go.
I like Gvardiol saved me a bit as well. I'm glad that was the transfer.
It's a nice differential there, mate. 4% owned.
Yeah,
it's such an underrated pick. Like, and Diaz will probably be under 10%. Like, Stones is the highest owned and he's injured. So actually very few are benefiting from these Man City clean sheets. The XG against them in both games, I think it's been 0.66 combined. They do not concede shots, let alone goals.
And the next two games, like
Sheffield United away,
and Fulham at home, like as close as you can get to like guaranteed of not conceding goals. So it's as good as it gets.
Oh, I've got to buy Gvardiol. I've got to buy Gvardiol tonight. I think he's.
Yeah, I guess that's actually true.
Let's have a look at my team. 46 for Dean. I think I was 5 or 6 points higher. Let's have a look. I don't remember sending the producer my team, but I'm guessing he's found it. Yeah, 53. There we go.
I think you're top of the league, aren't you? You're top of the mini league, mate.
Oh, get in. 9 points for Foden was lovely. Like, that felt like a real big differential win. But then
after the anxiety you went through with Ian telling you he wasn't playing to the Saturday when he's like the man of the match, you've had a great roller coaster.
And you know, I was a bit mugged off with Foden's 9. Like, it looks great, and I've got to take the 9 points. But if you watch the game and even the highlights, or you've seen he created 6 chances, like, this guy could have walked away with 15, 20 points quite easily. He kept putting it on a plate for Haaland. Haaland had one of the worst games in front of goal I've seen Haaland in a Man City shirt. And obviously it was Foden providing all those chances. And I was like, I've got Haaland captain, which for once was quite nice because not everyone had Haaland captain. Yeah. Obviously a few went Salah. And then I had Foden laying it on. Now, he did get the 3 bonus points because he was so good with all his creativity. But I could have had way more. The good thing is I'm a move up. I think loads of managers now will be looking to buy Foden. The big question is who do they sell? Because to get to Foden, many will have to sell a Man United or an Arsenal midfielder.
Rashford or Bruno.
Yeah. I think I'd sell Bruno before I sold Rashford. Would you?
Yeah, I mean, his header was atrocious. I feel like the captain's armband isn't actually doing many favours.
Yeah.
Man United's style of play isn't suiting anybody. I imagine that they're going to probably adapt the way they play so that we still might see this team growing for the next month. They still haven't got their actual centre forward in there. So, yeah, I would definitely be getting rid of Bruno right now.
See a comment in the chat, and because it's from Cam, I'm going to read it out. Cam says, do we have a Discord channel? We don't, and I don't know if we ever will or if we want to. I personally have never used Discord, and I don't have one and use Discord for FPL, but I know
Yeah.
quite a few do. In the chat, just let us know if you're big on
Yeah.
Discord. Let us know, because maybe we'd consider it.
Yeah, obviously, at Ranks FC, my podcast, we've got a Discord, and it's unbelievable actually, the Discord and Ranks. If you fancy joining the Ranks Patreon, you can get onto the Discord as well. It's unbelievable. It's like a non-stop football chat. It's ridiculous when I go in there. There's always like a couple of hundred people in there, like just chatting, like all over the place, like an ant's nest. And it's got all these little avenues of different. You can talk about football, music, Bundesliga, like transfers, FPL. So hit me up, separately from here if you want to hear a bit more about a Discord that you guys actually might be interested in, because I can probably point you in that direction.
Nice one. Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a few very interesting. Obviously, Chasing Green Arrows is on Twitter and Instagram. Question, pretty proud of my Diaz captaincy. Also, he has Jota. Fair play, Chisel Planet. That is amazing. Like, I want to speak a little bit about Mo Salah, actually. If he loses pens, and there is a chance he loses pens, we've seen Saka lose them and Watkins lose them. Szoboszlai scored 14 in 15 and McAllister scored 9 in 10. Way better records than Salah, who's 32 from 40. God, as if I know all that off the top of my head. I've said it that much today. I've said it in like 3 different videos today. And because of that, I think Salah could lose them. And in open play, when you look at Diaz, Jota and Salah, in open play, there's not much split in them. So why spend the money on Salah? At the moment, Diaz and Jota are performing as well as Salah. And I like those differential shouts. I like them a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. That decision I made quite late on to get onto Salah hasn't really paid off yet. I'm hoping, as I said before, that the ego side of things pays off and Salah does stay on pens. I mean, it'd be a massive call by Klopp to take him off pens. Like, you could really upset him by doing that. Like, this is a player that lives for goals and lives to be the main man. So would really be rubbing him up the wrong way, I think, if he did take the penalty kicks off him. But if he takes another one and then he misses, then you've actually got a reason to go to him and say, look, you are costing us. Yeah. And that's the job of the manager.
Yeah. I've got 2 free transfers. I've got $1 million in the bank. I am probably going to be selling Gabriel tonight, and I'm probably going to sell Watkins, I think, for Jackson for a short-term punt.
Okay.
I think so. Chisel Planet said, what do we think of Harvey Barnes? He didn't start. He hasn't started yet.
No.
Wait till he's a starter. When he's a starter, he's an amazing FPL asset. He's greedy. He's direct. He will shoot on sight. He'll be way better than Gordon, but wait till he's in the team first.
Yeah, definitely. It's a tough decision that they've got in terms of balancing those two. Just on Salah, Mark says he doesn't seem to be able to outrun defenders anymore. And Tom says he's got Salah and he thinks he's got to get rid of him. So, I mean, that's a big call after 2 weeks into FPL and you're thinking of getting rid of Mo Salah, one of the best players in the game.
It's controversial, that. But I also get it, because you might be like, that's my only route to Foden, or that's my only route to...
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of money you would open up, for sure, yeah.
Let's move on to the community team. This is a bit I'm excited about, because we've still got to do our bonus piece and take some questions. We'll quickly answer Mark's question, because super chats are always prioritized. What about João Pedro to Nketiah? And Nketiah hasn't been mentioned much. Nketiah is a really nice pick for game week 3, I think. But Jesus will be back soon. It's a transfer out waiting to happen. But for game week 3 alone, Fulham at home is about as good as it gets on paper, because Fulham's XG conceded is the worst in the league so far.
Yeah, obviously Tim Ream sent off in the last match, so that rattles us a bit. I mean, Calvin Bassey will come in for Fulham, so Fulham will be playing with a defensive partnership that have never played together before in that match against Arsenal. Obviously, very few teams go to Arsenal and cause an upset. Fulham not in the sort of form where you would expect that to happen. So unfortunately, Mark, I'm going to advise that, you do make that transfer and that I probably see Nketiah score about 10 yards away from me and celebrating right in front of me. Sad time.
Love, Mark. Okay, Chaser team. Guys, it was a disappointing week, wasn't it? 33. But we had a really good game week 1. I'm not sure what our overall rank is. I might be able to tell you. If I can, I'll let you know. And perhaps we'll put it on the bottom of the screen, or we'll display our rank moving forward, because I know you guys are heavily invested in this team. Now, full confession, because we did a deadline stream, right? We never do a deadline stream right up to the deadline. But for the first time ever, we did one right up until the deadline, certainly for the first time in like 6 months. Because of that, our producer was so busy producing the show that we slightly just missed the time to make the transfers. Now, the Chaser team is the producer's team, right? And you guys are picking it for him. So we didn't make the Turner and Nana decision, but it doesn't matter. They both got 2 points. But we didn't make the transfer, which was going to be Gabriel out for a Doji, who did get 6 points. But we will get better and we will make a better transfer this week. So I still think we're up. We do have a few flags, though. Chukwuemeka's going to be out for 6 weeks. Stones is going to be out for 4 or 5 weeks. So I actually think now we keep Gabriel and we poll who to sell, who to buy for John Stones, probably.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a no-brainer to have this option. Yeah, I know it says 0 transfers up the top there, but ignore that.
Yeah, we've got 2.
Yeah, we've got 2. So this is actually ideal because Gabriel is probably going to play at the weekend. Like, let's assume now, especially as it is Fulham, that Gabriel does play. So these are 2 really nice subs to make. Actually, these are 2 nice positions that are opening up.
Have we got money in the bank as well? Because Chukwuemeka might be able to be upgraded. I think we might have money in the bank. I'll let you know if we've got money in the bank, guys, and I'll also let you know our overall rank. But first, I guess we can poll the John Stones replacement.
Yeah, let's poll the John Stones replacement. Chris, let us get to your question in 1 minute. Let's just do this. Let's decide who is up for the poll, and then we will get to your chat. I promise you. So who would you have for Stones replacement? I mean, it's got to be Gvardiol.
Guess we should go with Gvardiol. We got to put a Doji in there.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and then I said Botman earlier, didn't I? I said they were the 3 I was considering.
Yeah.
Maybe those 3. Or Rico Henry, let's put him as an option. Oh, if you were saying Akanji. No, you're going to go Gvardiol over Akanji, I think.
Yeah, why is everyone saying Akanji?
Let
us know. Do you not want Gvardiol, people? Do you not want Gvardiol? Sure. Akanji.
I can't believe how many are loving Akanji.
I mean, look, it's their team. It's their team.
Okay,
no Gvardiol.
We'll poll Akanji and Gvardiol, and then Botman and Adoji. We'll do those 4. Forget Shaw and forget Henry, guys. Apologies. So that'll be the 4. Let's have a look.
Okay, yeah. So poll those right now. Chris, in the meantime, says thoughts with Sterling as a punt. Look, the Chelsea fans have been waiting a long time for a performance like that from Raheem Sterling. He hasn't been himself for most of the time that he's joined them. He admits himself he hasn't hit those levels. He had a bit of a niggle last season that held him back a bit. That West Ham performance was the most Raheem Sterling old-fashioned performance that I've seen in a while. He had that directness about him. He looked like he'd win pens. He looked like he would get in and score the tap-ins at the far post, those sorts of things. So that's a good sign, but we need consistency, and I don't think it's there yet. Luton, obviously a time that first one could come. So as a punt, go for it. I mean, if he doesn't score against Luton, then you can forget him for the rest of the season. This is the game to have a punt on your Chelsea players.
Yeah, exactly. I think I'm with you. I like Sterling. I actually think I'd go Sterling over Jackson. But I'm going Jackson because I'm willing to sell Watkins. I'm not willing to sell my midfielders. But thank you guys for that. The voting's been really interesting because it was so vocal, you guys, about Akanji, and Gvardiol smashed it. And it was so vocal about Henry. And when we did the poll on Friday, again, loads said Henry, and then we put him as an option, and he got like 2% of the vote. So
we have a lot of people who are quiet on this. You know, as many comments as we do actually get. There's still loads of lurkers who just sit there and they're like, "No, what are they not talking about?"
I love the lurker chasers. We never know who they are, but they vote.
We'll never know. I bet there's some people that have watched every single show. We have no idea.
If you want to introduce yourself for the first time ever, feel free to do so.
Come out, creep out, and give us a wave.
I did see a super chat come in. Both times I bought Akanji last year, Pep Roulette, so you can be stung. I mean, look, he is getting the minutes. There's no doubt about it. Akanji is probably the most versatile defender City have. He can play in any of the back 4 positions. He can even do the inverted thing. Like, he's been replacing John Stones in the inverted role. So I get it, but I just prefer Gvardiol for the long-term glue guy. They're both 5 million. We don't have money in the bank, Dean. We've got to sell Gabriel tonight, though, to beat that price drop. So we promise you we will be making the transfer this evening of Gabriel out, Gvardiol in.
Yeah.
Oh, look, there's a few lurkers coming
There's
out.
so
Dude.
many lurkers.
You want to give a
going
shout
out.
out to some lurkers?
This is brilliant. I love it. All these new names. You think we just pulled in a load of new people? They've all been here the whole time. Look at them
Linda's a
all.
lurker.
Look
Hey,
at them
Linda.
all. Oh my goodness! It's like we've just uncovered an ant's nest. This is brilliant.
Oh, I saw 177's a lurker. Oh, Rui's a lurker.
Oh, look, Josh is here. Sky Girl's here. Oh, look at you
Shearer's a
all.
lurker.
Hiding in the shadows. Why are you all so shy? Come on. Make sure
They're
you've
all
given us.
subscribed though, right? You reckon
They're
they're
all-
subscribed?
You better all be subscribed, and you better have all given us a like tonight, especially if we've now encouraged you to come forward out of the shadows and be one of the actual ultras who chats every week. Once you make that first comment, the gates are open. Just start joining in. We're all friends here.
Oh, Gav P, long-time lurker, always listening without working, whilst working.
Whilst working. That's a good point. I guess quite a few people probably do that. Just have their headphones on. That's a good point.
The Heroic Doses said something funny a second ago. Where was that? My whole life is lurking, to be fair. I won't ask any questions.
Sounds a bit creepy, mate. Yeah.
FPL Big Ed's a lot. I can't believe how many lurk. Welcome to the channel, team. Although I'm sure you've been watching and lurking for probably months.
Yeah.
Let's just put the feelers out for our second transfer,
Mm.
right? If we were to sell anyone, because we could just keep Chucky on the bench. Like, you only need a good sub one, and we've probably got an okay sub one.
Yeah, true.
So, would you like to sell? We've got no money in the bank. Chucky, Bruno, or João Pedro? Could you go João Pedro to Nketiah? No, because we've got 3 Arsenal assets already.
No. You can't do that. You could.
I don't think you could go João Pedro to anyone good at 5.5.
What's Alvarez? 6.
6.5.
Oh, 6.5. All right. No, you probably have to keep him. To be fair, he probably plays the next game.
Yeah. Let's poll it. Do we want to sell Chucky, Bruno, or
It's surely Bruno.
Or yeah, I think I'd sell Bruno to Foden, I think.
I mean, I 100% would be doing that transfer. Like that's like a no-brainer for me.
Let's do that poll. Chucky, Bruno, or Roll, the second transfer. And then we'll ask the same question on Friday.
Thanks for the dollar, Mr. Costa. You haven't given us a message, but maybe you're just a lurker. He's a lurker, that's fine. He has nothing to say. He just wants us to know that he is here, and he's given us $1 to say so. Thank you, mate. Appreciate it. Thanks everyone that has got involved in that lurker chat, by the way. That was a lot of fun. Dragon says, roll the transfer. 2 transfers in game week 4 could be worth it.
Guys, if you vote João Pedro, that's fine. Bear in mind, there's no money in the bank. So we can't replace João Pedro with anyone good. Just think about that when you're all voting João Pedro. Don't do it.
Okay, so it turns out Mr. Costa had sent a message, and it's like the longest message in the world. So we've gone from nothing to everything here. God. He's named us his entire squad.
How much does he want? How much is he paying us?
He's given us $1.
Oh, we need more.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tough one, Mr. Costa. What was he saying? Oh, it's a wild. Oh, he's doing a wild card, and this is his squad.
Don't go Porro.
Do not have Bruno in your
rotation
wild card
risk.
squad. Yeah, Porro, get him out.
Oh, not
get
Bruno.
Bruno out.
They're the only 2 bad ones.
Yeah.
I like the Sterling and Foden and Odegaard picks. Jackson could be fine. I don't love Edison. I'd prefer a Man City. I'd go, instead of Porro, go Gvardiol and then go for an Arna, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's no need to have Edison.
We can sell Bruno Dean. This is great. We can have loads of fun with this.
Yes. What a great way to end the show.
Voted Bruno. So look, let's do the Bruno transfer, but not lock it in tonight. So we'll poll it, and on Friday stream we'll show you the team without Bruno, but we won't click that move in. We'll just click the Gabriel transfer in tonight.
Okay. Yes.
So at the moment, we'll see if you change your mind on Friday. Who would you want to replace Bruno with? The options are Foden. Is Spurs midfielder?
Is Maddison fit? What happened with Maddison?
Again, well, I guess we won't know till Friday, will we?
Yeah, Maddison. That's a tough one because if Maddison's fit, then obviously like he's becoming an asset. But Sterling is an option now because if it's Luton and Forest.
And what about Jota? Is he listed as a midfielder or a forward? I can't even remember. He's a midfielder. Jota's an 8 million mid. So let's vote Jota, Foden, and Bomo. Yeah, you're right. There's a few in the chat saying Bomo. So there we go. Foden, we'll forget Spurs. Okay. We're going to replace Bruno with Mbomo, Foden, or I think Jota, but some are saying Diaz. Let's go Jota / Diaz, and then we could decide.
Figure it
Oh,
out.
CH says March. Yeah, okay. We'll also put March in as a fourth. March or Matoma. So we'll go Diaz and Jota is one pick. March and Matoma is another. We'll figure it out on Friday. Sterling
And Foden,
Foden.
Yeah. Perfect.
4 options.
It's coming together nicely. I'm enjoying this community team. I'm glad we get to make this together.
Oh crap! We didn't do. We didn't do Mbommo, did we?
Oh no.
Okay,
Well,
Mbommo instead of Sterling. Forget Sterling.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm just seeing the chat all going Mbommo question. I was like, no, we can't do it without Mbommo.
CH literally writing in caps to make sure you've seen it.
Producer's done well there. Quickly turned that round. He's got Mbommo in. I mean, it is his team after all.
Yeah, that was a close call. He's paying close attention. Greg says this team is tanking. He doesn't like it.
Hey, we had a good game week 1. Our overall rank is only 2.8 million.
Yeah. Don't worry, it's early days. Mutada, we might answer your question if you keep typing it. We answer a lot of questions on this chat, but we don't tend to answer the ones that just keep getting repeated.
Pep will definitely choose the team though, like Chisel Planet. Like Dean's been around football clubs for a very long time. Dean, when the manager's injured, just because he's not on the touchline, he still picks the team. And yeah, okay, some of the substitutions might not be fully on in. There might be some pre-planned subs, but he still picks the team, right?
Yeah, like it's back surgery, so I imagine Pep's gonna be like with it. So he'll be like on the end of a phone, like literally going through the preparations and everything. I can't imagine that's not going to be the case. So everything will be relayed through him. They probably already know their team for that game anyway. That's probably already been decided for that first match. That like Pep tends to outline a team two or three in advance, so that he starts to figure out his rotations and like what player he would definitely want to beat that system or whatever, so that player is definitely freed, and they'll work around it. So yeah, I don't think it'll make too much difference. It's interesting, but yeah, he'll definitely have his iPad on in bed. Don't worry about that.
There we go. The vote is tight, Dean. We're going to have to give him another minute because at the moment, Foden is 37% and Mbommo is 43%.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's proper. Diaz Jota's 9 and March Matoma 11. But guys, keep voting. If you haven't voted yet, this could swing it. So it's a close one. Guys,
I didn't put people off Mbommo, did I?
Well, yeah. Maybe you did a little bit. Maybe it would have been 50-60. But guys, we were going to talk Mbommo and do bonus beats, but we might run out of time because I want to still answer a few questions and do this community team. So we could park bonus beats till later in the week. What do you reckon, Dean? Or do we do it quickly?
Yeah, I think we can park it. Yeah,
I
think it's fine. We've covered a lot of it anyway, so it's fine. We'll do some questions so that people.
Yeah, so we're not just doing super chats.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we've done a fair few super chats. So if you have got a normal question as well, we will try and get to them. Send us a super chat. You're guaranteed an answer. Send us a normal chat. We'll probably answer.
Yeah. So we got 2 free transfers with this team. We're going to definitely do Gabriel to Gvardiol tonight. And then we will do Bruno to Mbommo. But we won't click that move. But the team we show you on Friday will have Mbommo on the graphic and the money in the bank that we've got. And then we can change Mbommo if we want to, or we can go through with the move. We'll ask you again on Friday.
Nice. Elmo, thoughts on Cunha as a 5.5 option? Look, as a footballer, I'd say Cunha is one of, he's their best player. And he's a player that, like, if you were to go to every Premier League team and say, which Wolves player do you want? They'd probably all pick him, right? But he's not going to score that many goals.
He didn't at Atletico, did he? I looked at his record the other day. He's never been clinical in his club career.
So I'm not sure what we're actually going to get in return there. So, like, yeah, you watch him, you're like, oh my God, he's amazing. But then you could keep watching him being like, but when does he score? So that's the only drawback I'd say. That's why it's 5.5, to be fair.
We're going to have to do a poll, Dean, because CH has just mentioned Mbommo is rising tonight. So do we want to save the 0.1? Do we want to? So the poll now needs to be, do we go Bruno to Mbommo tonight or wait till Friday? Do you want to catch the price rise? That's the question. I personally, know we got so much money in the bank, I think I'd wait till Friday. But if you want to pocket that 0.1, we can do that. So we'll poll it and see what you guys think.
Yeah, that's a really good chat. Well done, CH. Great mod. G, what do you think of Salah, Pedro out to March Jackson in from Zoltan?
I like those moves.
Yeah, that's
I do like those moves for this week. I would just say with Solly March, there's a there's a chance you don't want to start him in game week 4, 5, 6. They've got some tough fixtures. I'd sell Salah, Pedro, and I'll bring in Jackson. I'm not convinced it would be March, but I don't mind those moves. So do we go Bruno tonight or wait? Do we go Bruno to Mbommo tonight or wait for the price? Do we go Bruno? Okay, forget the second part of that question. Do we go Bruno to Mbommo tonight? Yes or no? Because the price rise actually happens tonight. So do you want us to make the move tonight? Yes or no?
It's a tough call. In the meantime, one question I want from the other chat, which isn't on the screen right now. Sorry, Chisel Planet. Gabriel, yeah. Would you sell Salah for Foden? There's a few people asking this question. Probably yes. Like Liverpool having Newcastle away isn't a great fixture, but just bear in mind that after this next game, Liverpool do have a home game against Aston Villa. Then they have Wolves away, who could be one of the worst teams in the league this year. Then they have West Ham at home, which you would expect them to win because they've got to have to start making a statement. So just be careful. Like, it's very early to be jumping off Salah. Like, he is going to score goals. So just be cautious.
I would go for it though, because I just am Foden's fanboy. But yeah, guys, just to reiterate that question in the chat, do we go Bruno to Mbommo tonight? And ignore the last few words. That's all you need. So yes or no. Do you go tonight for that move? Yes or no? Chisel Planet, so generous tonight. And Mbommo will blank against Palace, surely. Maybe. Dean, you expect Palace to win that game, don't you?
Yeah, well, I said, to be fair, I put Arsenal an upset alert because I thought that Palace might get a point against them, and I wasn't too far off. Obviously, it's come down to a pen, so I've got a lot of faith in what Crystal Palace are doing. Like, the foundations of Palace are pretty strong. Like, I like their defense a lot, and like they've got a bit of flair about them too. So I'm just a little bit wary of always going against Crystal Palace because I think they're actually going to have a better season than a lot of people were expecting.
Yeah. Whose mins are more in doubt? Alvarez or Foden with Man City buying Doku? I think Alvarez mins are more in doubt because the way Foden's been playing. They've both been playing really well, but Foden was man of the match by a country mile in the last time out. Guys, we are going to make the transfer tonight of Mbommo into Bruno. That is going to give us tons of money in the bank. And on Friday, if you want to make a 4-point hit to get João Pedro out and buy Nicholas Jackson, we'll give you that opportunity.
Nice, yes. Nice. Do not miss it. Do not miss this opportunity of a lifetime. Garev says Diaz has got tough. Diaz has got tough fixtures. Should we sell him for Sterling or Foden? No, I wouldn't.
Oh, CH is big on no to Jackson. Guys, we could buy Jackson and captain him. We'll do the captaincy poll on Friday. And I want you guys to think about maybe backing against Haaland for either a Martinelli or Saka or Rashford with a great home fixture.
Hang on. You're going to captain a bloke that's never scored a Premier League goal against...
He's playing Luton.
I know, but...
And it's not my actual team.
I suppose if we're going to have proper fun with this one, if we're going to have proper fun with this team, we should encourage that. You're right. Yeah.
Gaurav, Diaz has got tough fixtures. Sell for Sterling or Foden. Okay, yeah, you answered that one. I think, Dean. No. Let's go to the next one. FPL Big Ed, a lurker. I saw you admit to being a lurker earlier, Big Ed. Sell Gabriel or roll the transfer. I think you sell Gabriel now because you're gonna sell him in a couple of weeks regardless, and he's just dropping in price. He will be 4.9 tomorrow, and there's a good chance by the deadline he's 4.8. Like he's highly owned. So he's going to tumble quickly. But good question. I'm going to be selling Gabriel tonight. Any word on the Madders injury? I don't think we'll know till press conferences later in the week. Like
my hunch is he's okay. My hunch is
a chance he'll be all right.
Yeah,
but he might not be all right for game week 3, but it'll be back for game week 4.
I don't think he's going to. Yeah, I don't think it's bad. Yeah. Would you sell Martinelli to get Odegaard? That's going to be a new conundrum, isn't it? I mean, this penalty factor is definitely going to be interesting.
He's proper wide Martinelli as well. Like, I'm not seeing the same goal threat from him.
Yeah.
Maybe I would. In a free transfer, I'd take that.
Yeah. I'd say there's a high chance that Arsenal get a penalty against Fulham at the weekend. A very high chance. Fulham are terrible at leaving a foot out in games like that. I can see it happening.
I looked last season. Fulham actually got the second most penalties in the league, second or third. They got 8 penalties last year. Brentford also got 8 and Man City got 10. So penalties in FPL can be worth up to 10 extra goals for your guy. That's why FPL managers, and I don't do this enough, back the penalty takers, João Pedro and Bomo, players like that. And we've seen already this season they're getting them. Would you sell Gabriel for Henry and rotate with Cash or Gabriel to a Doji? Oh, I'm struggling with that question, Vignesh. We need it. We need more of an X or Y.
Yeah.
The long and short of it is sell Gabriel.
Yeah, to a Doji. Yeah, just do that. Start Saliba or Akanji.
Tough one.
It's a tough one, but I mean, the chances of Fulham scoring at Arsenal seem pretty slim.
No Mitro, goal shot.
No Mitro
at home.
Yeah, there's no obvious sign. Like if Fulham score at Arsenal, then obviously I'm delighted, but I'm not expecting to go there and score a goal, which tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah. Reston Pilgrim in the chat says Udogie rotates well with a Stupinan. I'll be looking into that later when I make my move, because I am looking for a fourth defender, and maybe Gvardiol actually gives me a bit of a headache.
Yeah.
And if Udogie's got the upside, which I believe he has, I think he's going to score goals and get assists. I am tempted. Triple Chelsea's an option, because Chilwell, and then you go Gusto and Colwill, and then a Jackson or a Sterling. It's an option, but I don't think you'll want Triple Chelsea for long.
No, you won't. You won't. Chelsea rubbish. Right, we got time. But actually, I'll tell you how we're going to end.
Go on.
You can talk us through, as a Chelsea fan, Caicedo's debut.
Oh, I mean, this will be brief. Like, what a nightmare performance. But we've got to remember, he's not really been playing for Brighton. Pre-season, he was in and out. He hasn't played game week 1 and 2. He's just a little bit rusty. This guy is a baller. He's going to be great in a Chelsea shirt.
I did have a little giggle, I've got to admit. I did enjoy
it. Guys, thank you so much in the chat. I'm loving all the names that have come out in the chat. If you're a lurker historically and you want to join the conversation, then absolutely do. The super chat from Chisel Planet, I'm not sure we can answer that, but I can give you 10 seconds. Madders is high risk. I wouldn't go there, and I actually wouldn't be going Saliba. I don't think Saliba's a sell, but if you're on wildcard, I wouldn't be buying Saliba. That's for sure. I wouldn't be buying an Arsenal defender. They got a tough run coming up. Guys, so many of you watching, hit the like button before you leave, and if you fancy subscribing, do. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm not sure what time. Let me just check. Okay, we're going to be back tomorrow. I think it's at 1, but we'll be tweeting the time. So we will see you next time. But for now, Dean and I, it will be 1 o'clock. Dean and I will be back on Friday. Me and Big Man tomorrow at 1 UK time. But for now, he's been Dean, I've been Janny, and we've been chasing Green Arrows.